Guys, it's Sunday, September 5th. It's game day, World Cup qualifier number 2 versus the USA against Canada. Let's get this pregame show started. All right, guys, so joining me today, he was on the Soccer Specific podcast last Thursday, is Rufo. Rufo, how you doing, man?
Again, I'm doing pretty good. Having a pretty good, what is it, Sunday?
It's Sunday. It's game day.
Game day today, baby. You already know USMNT versus Canada. One of the big games that, of course, is coming up. Pretty much hyped up about it. Even then, when we were talking on the Soccer Specific podcast the other day, I actually felt pretty good about, what we basically spoke about and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got some lineup changes here. The starting 11 just came out for the U.S., so we're going to be showcasing that here just in 1 minute. But, guys, this is a massive match. Just to recap, USA versus El Salvador obviously ended in a draw. U.S. did not perform to what I thought was the right level to go into these qualifiers. Then again, today is a much-needed win, 3 points home in Nashville. So, Rufo, what are you thinking today? Are you feeling confident?
Honestly, yeah, when I saw the game highlights during USMNT versus El Salvador, there were chances that were pretty much trying to get made, but it just wasn't executed properly, and it led me thinking, shoot, this better not be another repeat of 2017, because oh my God, I'm not going to bring that memory back up. God forbid it's happened again, but, moving on from that game, like a little bit of notes there. Of course, chances can be made for the team. But the one main thing that I could basically say is they just got to just stay put, And for this Canada game that's coming up, it's like I said the other day in the Gold Cup, El Salvador was probably a hard team to basically break down. Now you're facing Canada. USA did face Canada, and they're pretty much another team as well that are basically going to be fighting for that top 3 spot for the qualifiers for the World Cup.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And it's that top 3 spot that moves on to the World Cup in Qatar. Number 4 plays any really confederation at this point in time that do the drawing here in the near future. But the roster came out, Rufo, so let's take a quick look at that. I'm going to hide our ugly faces here. Here's the starting 11 for the U.S. men's national team. And we'll kind of break down, the exact lineup that we're going to expect here. Zach Steffen, just to start, is out with COVID. So Matt Turner is once again starting. Rufo, Matt Turner, did what he had to do last game. However, I get very nervous when he plays it out from the back, and you saw him against El Salvador actually give away a corner. Just to be kind of critical on him, he's an incredible shot stopper, but when he does play it from out back, he does have some issues with his footwork. So we'll see him there. Serginho Dest, of course, will be right back position. More of a right wing back. We're expecting more of a probably 3 back for USMNT against Canada. We'll have Tyler Adams, not the captain for this match. So Christian Pulisic is back. John Brooks will be at the center back position. Anthony Robinson, more of a left wing back. We have Brendan Aronson starting once again. I'll be interested to see if they use him more in a wing position or more of an attacking mid role. We have Miles Robinson, Sebastian Lletget. Rufo is getting the start. Jordan Pefok, who is replacing Josh Sargent. So we actually have Jamie Lauder joining us again from overseas in Norwich. So I'm sorry for that, Jamie. I don't know if he's going to stay up now to watch the match now that Sargent isn't playing. And we have Kelly Nacosta, who will most likely drop back probably to a 6. We'll have to see what position he plays. What do you think, Rufo?
Honestly, for me, for the last game, excuse my language. Anyway, so I know the 2 fullbacks were basically Serginho and Yedlin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was talking to one people from the Discord, and I was saying, why in hell is Serginho Dest starting at left back? That doesn't make any sense. He's more of a right wing back, right back, but I guess for what Berhalter wanted to do is add a lot of pace on both of the fullback positions. So from whatever I said from the Soccer Specific podcast, kind of came true with They're kind of needed to be more pacey out in the back.
Mhm.
And the defense, I mean, John Brooks, that's a good addition, instead of Tim Ream. Tim Ream, for me, I mean, he did okay for what I saw, but honestly, I just wasn't all too pleased with him in the lineup.
Sure.
And,
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say that, I mean, the reason I think you had left back being Dest in the previous match was because of Yedlin's capabilities there. Dest is a little bit more acclimated to both roles. He's a little bit more, I wouldn't say athletic because, obviously Yedlin's extremely athletic, but as far as his skill level, he is better than Yedlin. But I'm excited to see Dest today in his actual position at right wing back today, more or less, because we'll see three in the back. He might get torched though by Davies. We got to see what's going to happen there with Alphonso Davies there coming up on the left side. Very well could get torched. So it's going to be a huge match, a huge test, for Serginho Dest there.
Yeah, indeed. You got of course the fastest fullback in the world, and Alphonso Davies playing for of course a Champions League winning team from 2020. That's gonna be a tough test for Serginho, of course. But yeah, Miles Robinson, of course, I saw as another choice that basically got into Berhalter's lineup. So of course, you got Brooks and Robinson with Dest and Anthony Robinson. Honestly, I did predict Robinson to be in the El Salvador game, but of course, like Berhalter just did, he wanted to do what he had to do. So indeed, he did that. Midfield options, it's like you said, Acosta can pretty much play anywhere, basically a utility man, but I feel like he'll probably be staying in defensive midfield. Legit, I mean, yes, but at the same time though, I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't know about that.
It's kind of a head scratcher, right? I think ultimately Legit, he's a guy who you're going to get consistency out of him, consistently somewhat above average. I wouldn't necessarily say mediocre, but at this level, when you're throwing out your best starting 11, I really can't imagine throwing out Sebastian Legit. And also, who we're missing right here is Gio Reyna. He's not in this roster.
Ooh,
so
no.
What is going on, right? So that's my biggest observation right now. And I'm shocked that we not observed that up front. It looks as if Legit is coming in for Reyna. Now we'll have to see exactly what type of lineup, what type of 11 he throws out there as far as formation goes, because my head is kind of scratching right now with that decision right there.
Yeah, indeed, and I'm just looking at why Gio Reyna's not in here, and that's not good. So I think after the game from the El Salvador game, there was a riot, and riot police had to legit protect this man. I think Berhalter kind of gave him the day off, I guess. I don't even know if he started on the bench, which that's another main thing too.
I don't know if that could possibly be true. I actually made a graphic. So this is pretty funny for the upcoming. See if I can pull this up right now. For the upcoming State of Soccer episode, we are going to be profiling the top 5 toughest places to play in Concacaf, Rufo, which I'm really, really excited for. And in this past match, Gio Reyna was surrounded on the corner. He was taking the corner. He was surrounded by riot guards. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah. He was kind of shook the whole match, it looked like, Gio Reyna. When the national anthem was on, there were fireworks going off. Here's the picture I created. Toughest places to play in CONCACAF, top 5. So this will be the episode coming up, guys. So make sure to subscribe if you're interested, if you want to see this. But we have the laser pointers out. We have the trash on the field, the beer being thrown. We have everything coming at Gio Reyna there. And he was kind of shaken up, this past match. So I don't know. You're right. Potentially that's why. That is to be seen. Let's go to the comments here. Also, Jamie Lauder saying McKennie was taken out due to violation of team policy. So there's a lot going on. Reyna has been diagnosed with a right hamstring. Okay, there we go. Mr. Newsman, Jamie Lauder coming in. So ignore everything we said, although I will say that it looked like despite Reyna's playing at Dortmund, he looked a little bit shell-shocked down in El Salvador. Weston McKennie is out due to violation of team policy. So this is going to be interesting. Once again, Rufo, we don't really have the USMNT's best 11 going up against Canada, which is a tough opponent. What do you think of Canada going into this match?
Honestly, from the match that I saw them play, they're pretty much aggressive in my opinion. Like even from like the Gold Cup as well, they're more of the team that's like the aggressor. They will basically push and pressure as much on the defenses as much as they can. Like if you look back then, they weren't more of a threat as of now, but they have like players such as Laren, David, Davies, like all these great either attacking or even fullback players that can pretty much just push on the attack. So I feel like my one main concern for the United States as of this moment is Davies, Laren, and David if they do play. David especially. Jonathan David as well. He's a goal scorer of his own.
Here we go, Rufo. I was able to find the Canadian starting 11, so you got it all here on State of Soccer pre-match show. We got, of course, the names that stand out. Alphonso Davies, most likely playing in that left wing-back role. We have Kyle Lauren, more or less a striker there. Mark Anthony Kay, former LAFC guy. Then outside of that, Scott Kennedy, Richie Larea, who is also poses as a threat, a very talented player. Junior Hola, overall, this team really, the U.S. should take care of business here, especially home in Nashville. That being said, this is Canada's golden generation. It's our golden generation here for the United States men's national team. But when talent to talent, the U.S. is well suited for victory here. Like
because even for one, like you said, this is the golden generation that the U.S. and Canada are basically going for. As like I know, for most things, like even like I said, growing up, especially till now, to see how both teams have rebuilt themselves in like these years, especially trying to qualify for this next World Cup, it's like you said, talent versus talent, you just never know what the outcome will be like. So, this will definitely be a more challenging match, especially for both teams. And they basically know it from both managers' standpoints, from the player standpoints. Like they know damn well, straight up, this is going to be for a result that will either put us in the top 3 or somewhere in between.
And that's exactly right, Rufo. So what really the pundits, the reporters are saying, whatever you want to call them, is that 3 points here. I know, in my opinion, 3 points is a no-go. If the U.S. is only to get a tie here, a draw, and then the next match against Honduras, if they pull out another draw, that's 3 points. That's, in my opinion, that is not enough. If the U.S. was to come out with 5 points, I'd be a little bit happier. They still have the opportunities for 7 points, Rufo, and this is a huge match. What you don't want is the U.S. either to only get a point or to drop this match at home. And then the mindset of 2017 kind of starts creeping in. And I think ultimately, right, the players will start, and this is a whole fresh squad, but you don't want the players' mindset to, could we miss Qatar 2022? And there's 14 matches to be played here in these qualifiers. It's not like the previous hex, So there's a lot of games still left to be played, but to pick up 3 points today is huge.
Indeed, like, oh my God, I don't even want to remind myself of the hex because that was almost Mexico in 2013, almost.
Yeah.
For the U.S. saved their behinds. But even then, I feel like with 14 matches, it is enough time. But, as an actual team, you basically tell yourself, nah, this isn't enough. We got to get our asses up and just say, got to get down to business and just got to do what we got to do, And as for the U.S., especially for Mexico or Canada, like I said, if they want to make it in that top 3, they have got to put the gas pedal to the goddamn floor no matter what, because you ain't trying to let Jamaica up into like the top 3 or, El Salvador or whatever national team wants to get into that place, into the World Cup, because you want to automatically qualify. It's do or die at any moment.
Hey, Rufo. So Jamie Lauder is stating that Weston McKennie is out on a violation of team policy. So not necessarily COVID policy, it looks like, not necessarily CONCACAF policy. So if we can kind of see what's going on there, this is all breaking news right now, which is why we go live for the pre-match show. So let's see. I'm going to search up Weston McKennie here, the latest tweets. Weston McKennie is not included in the squad due to a violation of team policy, and Gio Reyna misses out with hamstring injury. Interesting. Weston McKennie missing from team bus that just arrived at stadium. More to come, apparently. So not only, Rufo, is he not in the lineup, he's not on the sidelines, it looks like.
Probably suspended from the team, most likely, even if he did that violation, indeed.
Brutha Bluto, France would beat you like you owed them money. Well, they couldn't beat Ukraine the other night. That was a 1-1 draw. So. What else we got here? Let's see the comments here. Yeah, man, it looks like Weston McKennie was not on the bus. That's crazy.
Imagine doing that, man. That could never be me.
So that's not a good look. We don't really know why. It could be for one of a million reasons here. But then again, let's keep kind of chatting here about this Canada team, because with Weston McKennie out, with Reyna not playing due to hamstring injury, those are two of the USMNT's better players, if not best players. Canada has an opportunity now today, right? I mean, Sebastian Leget's going to be called upon. Kelly Nakasa is going to be called upon. It looks like P-Folk is in there now, replacing Sargent. This lineup's looking a little bit different. This is going to be wild. This match is going to be kind of a little bit unpredictable. I don't think the lineup looks weak by any means. It's still, in my opinion, better than Canada, but this isn't going to be easy. And once again, these Concacaf World Cup qualifiers always are tough.
Indeed, and yeah, my bad. I just got our notification out of nowhere there.
Yeah, Weston thinks he's Cam Newton. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I feel like I would say big blow for the U.S. because McKennie is also another vital part in that midfield. But of course, you have other assets, of course, either from the B team of the U.S. or C, whatever you basically call it. But I feel like with Acosta in that lineup, he can basically try to do as much for what Weston McKennie basically produces out on the field. But we don't know until we see it on the field.
And that's the thing, Rufo. That's actually a really good point here. The Gold Cup, so there's two sides of this. Everyone was calling for the USA's best 11 at the Gold Cup, which couldn't be done, right? Due to the team being over in Europe. That being said, their B team, their C squad, whatever you want to call it, these guys getting that experience most recently in the Gold Cup is allowing them to step up here. Matt Turner, he's a guy who really shouldn't be on the field right now, but we know that Zach Steffen has COVID. We have, Brendan Aronson, who wasn't, he's a guy who wasn't at the Gold Cup. He's a guy who, in my opinion, is right now deserves a spot in the starting 11. So he's out there. But there's Jordan P-Folk right now, a guy they're slating in over Sargent at this point in time, which is interesting. And I thought Josh Sargent showed the abilities the last match, but just didn't get the job done. He had the athleticism, but it was just finishing it. He had a couple chances early on and did not capitalize. And then Kelly Nakasa, who's a guy who really could play himself into a role here, because he's someone who in both the Nations League and Gold Cup really stood up and showed what he was capable of, Rufo.
Indeed, and I feel like for Berhalter, once he called up Kelly Nakasa to the squad, it was more like a great acquisition indeed, because he knew what Acosta's capable of, like we said at the beginning of the show. And, for someone, and okay, I just saw a comment saying McKennie faces fine for
breaking news on the State of Soccer pre-match show. McKennie faces fine for breaching COVID-19 protocols and hosting party in the U.S. Wow.
Now that's a big blow.
So while he's home on U.S. soil, there's obviously all the protocols in place for COVID. He's in Tennessee, which is a place where COVID's spiking. So, there's a lot of people calling for the match to even be hosted there just due to the amount of COVID cases increasing in Tennessee. And he throws a party. So I don't know when he threw the party, but this is breaking news from Jamie Lauder. Jamie, I appreciate that, man. Really, really not a good look. Not a good look. And he had some issues at Juventus too, Rufo. I know a little while back he had some disciplinary problems there as well. It looks like Ronaldo leaves the team and all of a sudden, he has no example.
Jesus Christ. What?
That is not good. That is not good. So that's not a good look here. So I'm going to go back to Twitter here and refresh Weston McKennie, see exactly what's going on. If there's any more details. Once again, guys, this is all breaking news. We had no idea that Gio Reyna was not going to start. We had no idea that Weston McKennie was not going to be on the field. Josh Sargent not starting. These are all kind of relatively new findings that are happening one by one here live. So that's tough. That is really tough.
Well, indeed, honestly, I just hope one of that was not a smart move, especially in Tennessee. Indeed, even with cases of Delta basically increasing in that state, for McKennie to do that, I just don't want this man going down the Balotelli route. Any type of route, when you go partying, right, as a footballer, you do not want to do that. Do it in the off season. Don't do it in the middle of an international break.
Yeah.
Or on club duty. Don't do any of it. If I was Christopher Mad Dog Russo, I'd be like, nah, hell no. Stick your ass in the team and perform. Do your best and be the best player on that goddamn team. Because if not, just send your ass packing back home and go back to your club.
No, I mean, it's an honor to play for the U.S., right? That's the biggest thing. A lot of these guys take it for granted potentially. I'm not saying Weston McKennie does, but it sure looks like he does here. And, it's part of his attitude. It's part of what makes him so good is that he's kind of laid back. But at the same time, to party, to not be on the team bus, I'm sure it's not going to feel good. I think that, kudos to Berhalter, right, Rufo, for kind of setting it straight, for saying, hey, you're not going to play. You violated team policy. That's what he has to do. He's young. It's game 2, World Cup qualifying. But at the same time, man, that's just not good.
Just not a good look on his resume, indeed, and it's like I said, you don't want to be like those types of players that in the history of soccer, especially, it's like I said, you don't want to be a Balotelli, indeed, but that's a big one. Okay. Isn't a favorite of Allegri at Juventus?
He's essentially saying that, Juventus is having some issues too with McKennie. So, I mean, you do hear things, right? And they are trying to move him. So if the offer did come, I'm sure, recently the head of football operations there essentially came out and said that, McKennie's here to stay. I don't know if the right offers came in for him. He's a great player, but this kind of shows this isn't a good look. So if Juventus was trying to move him, they're not going to be able to move him now, right?
Exactly. Unless he gets released from the club and then, signs on a free, but I highly doubt that happens.
So going back to the starting 11 here for the U.S., the one thing that I would say, Christian Pulisic is back. So that's huge. Our number 10. He needs to come out early, man, and he needs to score. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, he just needs to set the record straight that the U.S. is the best team qualifying. I know you might disagree with that, Rufo, being an El Tri fan. But at the same time, man, they do have to score. Christian Pulisic needs to come out early on, put one in the back of the net in front of the Nashville faithful, and send the USA up 1-0. And then my anxiety will be kind of dying out at that point in time, right?
Indeed. Also, another quick thing, I did a sim for both national teams playing today through FIFA 21, and
okay.
The prediction according to FIFA 21 has the United States scoring 2 and Canada with 1 in all of the 90 minutes, so the USA can claim 3 points on a 2-1 victory. As we said, both teams have talent that are basically growing along the way, but it looks like the US from this sim is just a sim, guys, just a video game. It's all
not real life. Yeah, basically. Yeah, but do you have the scores? Who scored?
Yeah, the scores from both. So from the highlights here, what I can say, it says a goal by Sargent, a goal by Cavallini from Canada, and then a goal again by Josh Sargent. But the thing, though, however, Josh Sargent isn't starting today, so
yeah,
the 2 other goals might be but we're gonna go back to these lineups again.
All the goals being scored by the substitutes. So Cavallini would have to come in and score in the second half, and Sargent would have to score 2 in the second half. Possible, man. I mean, I like the scoreline 2-1. I definitely do. We'll get to the predictions later on the show at the top of the hour. But we have a couple other comments here. Spurs would have taken McKennie if Juve had a replacement in line after Ronaldo left. He's likely gone in January. I think in the January window, you will see McKennie most likely leave. And this right here is not a good situation for him. If you want to play the top clubs, if you want to play for the top national teams, you got to play by the rules, right?
Exactly. Like indeed, it's not like Christian Pulisic arrived at Chelsea, on like a big fee from Borussia Dortmund, and then just said, just do it out the window. Said, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever the hell is basically around me and stuff. No, this man basically earned it. And what McKennie's got to understand, especially when he got this loan move from Schalke to Juventus, and then that permanent move to stay at the Bianconeri, is that not only did you earn it from playing very good last year, but you've earned it because you played hard. Now you got to realize too, there's no big man Ronaldo. He's gone, and of course you still got Chiesa and all these other guys, but you got to do you. I don't care if Artur is there. I don't care if there's the biggest name player that's right there. I don't even give a damn if like Max Allegri is your manager. You just got to respect it, If Pulisic can like perform at his peak, and he's still going to be performing at his peak because, he's going to be performing well for Chelsea, But for McKennie, what he has to understand is he has got to put himself first with his attitude and stuff.
I mean, that's I don't think that really needs to be said. He understands that. I'm sure he does. This is a huge mess. I don't know if he tried to hide the party. I don't know who was there. So all those details will come out later. It's a little bit of drama. The one thing that's interesting about soccer in this country, Rufo, is that it's still growing, right? It's a sport that still is like hasn't really completely arrived on the scene yet. So McKennie might get away with this when it comes to the tabloids tomorrow morning. But anyone in the soccer world, the U.S. soccer world, knows that this is a major screw up for Weston McKennie. And more people are watching soccer in this country. More and more people are paying attention to the USMNT. And it's not a good look. I wouldn't see Tyler Adams, Pulisic. I don't see those guys, Zach Steffen, doing the same thing. I know they're all close, so hopefully they'll listen to him.
Exactly, indeed.
But, I want to kind of go back to Canada's roster. We're right now, we're at 7:33 here. So at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, we're going to call quits. The game does start at 8:12 p.m. Eastern time. If you're on the Eastern Corridor on FS1, Unimas, and TUDN. It's at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. So, Rufo, let's talk a little bit about these games kind of bouncing around. One thing that I'm working on is the toughest places to play in Concacaf, right? I'm doing that top 5 list. Just launched my article today. What do you think about the U.S.? What's the toughest place to play in the United States right now? Because they kind of hop around from stadium to stadium. Nashville's, newer to the scene. What type of atmosphere do you think you can expect today?
I feel like it'd be like a chill atmosphere, but it's like I said, like, legit. It's or it's like you said before, VPN to watch at 1 a.m.
Yeah, he's over in Norwich, so he's joining us at 1 a.m.
Okay. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So I feel like for me, Tennessee, wait, are they playing at Nissan Stadium? Okay, they are playing at Nissan Stadium. Okay.
Yeah.
Playing at the Titans and Nashville SC Stadium. Okay, bet. I feel like that'd be a good atmosphere, legit, because like majority, I feel like, of the USMNT fans either traveling from like another state or in the state of Nashville that's growing within the sport because of Nashville SC. I think they will get that advantage, and they will back the United States. And if there's like more Canada fans, example, like that will probably be what the differentiation factor. Like it all depends on like the support of like the fans, however the case may be. If there's a lot of people backing you, no matter what the case may be, to keep on pushing, to keep on going throughout the game, I feel like there'd be a benefit. So yeah, but the toughest site is not going to be Tennessee. I would say like Pasadena, where the Rose Bowl is basically at in California. Big games over there. A lot of big games.
But I know, and you're thinking it. Yeah, right. I'm gonna say it again. Obviously you're a Mexican fan, so I feel like whenever the U.S. plays there, it's majority Mexican national team fans, which it's tough for the U.S., right? So I'm saying that the environments that benefit the United States. So Nashville could be one. Brutha Bluto said that Colorado is the toughest site due to the high altitude. High altitude's also in El Salvador. High altitude's also in other places in Central America. So depending on who they're playing, I agree with that. In a cold winter day in Colorado, it might be really tough. we've seen games played in the snow with the U.S. over the years. So I think Seattle is tough because you have the turf. You have, 50,000 plus screaming fans. If the U.S. is comfortable playing on turf, a lot of nations aren't. It's kind of a different type of surface. So if they're used to that, and a lot of Americans grew up playing in the States on turf-like surfaces, which maybe there's less of in Central America or the Caribbean, right? That
Yeah.
could be tough. Columbus, right, used to be the bastion for like the stronghold for U.S. against Mexico. Doesn't really exist anymore. That stadium, it's not being used.
Indeed.
But
yeah, I feel like another place that also benefits for the USMNT, like most recently Exploria Stadium, indeed, our homegrown turf here in Florida.
Over in Orlando, yeah.
In Orlando, indeed, it's a new stadium for, of course, Orlando City SC, and it's a very good stadium. Like from what I heard, the feedback, they did have a comfortable win. I think someone from Orlando scored. I think it was either Andres Pereira when he was like called up for Greg Berhalter's team. He did score on his debut, and I think it was at Exploria, and they were playing, I think, Trinidad, and I heard a lot of great stuff. Not a lot of people were there, probably like I think half due to like COVID restrictions, but it was a pretty good atmosphere. But I think they played pretty good over at Exploria as well, which could be another like list of stadiums that is comfortable to play in.
Yeah, that's a good spot too. Honestly, Orlando's a good spot. We've seen in past World Cup qualifiers, I think U.S. like thumped Panama right before the Trinidad and Tobago match in 2017 in Orlando. I'm pretty sure, Rufo. So that was a big win a couple years back in the last World qualifying rounds. Yeah, I mean, and then we're also the U.S. will eventually have to go up to Canada. We know Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, typically where most matches are played. We have a couple comments here. Berhalter better. Canada will be tossing it down for sure. I agree. Canada really, I mean, they have a lot to lose, right? Because this is Canada's golden generation here. But at the same time, the U.S. Is this McKennie situation? Do you think this McKennie situation was known a couple hours ago, or do you think this is all new to the starting 11? Is this something that was just found out? This is like, this is also what I'm thinking too. Is this McKennie situation?
Oh shoot! Hold on, wait a minute.
No, you're all good. I can hear you.
Yeah. YouTube apparently had played back in the background, so I was like, "Wait, are you speaking still?"
No problem.
What's going on? But what did you say again? Because
I was saying, what's kind of apparent to me. Obviously, in the starting 11, we don't see McKennie. Obviously because of we've talked about it enough. We don't have to keep hammering it home. But with what's going on there, he's not in there. Do you think this information came out in the past hour, or do you think this Berhalter has kind of kept this close to his chest, knowing? I personally think the U.S. has known about this stuff for a while, and this is why releasing the roster only about an hour before the match benefits them. But it's going to be interesting here.
Probably because Berhalter might have known, like probably early in the morning or early on in the day, because even if you don't see a player that you may see in there, like, for the likes of Reina or McKennie, indeed, you're going to notice. And especially as a coach, even if you don't want to say a public statement of why your player isn't in there, you have the right to basically be like, okay, this is the one reason and one reason only I didn't put him in, but he'll say it later on, but.
Yeah, we're definitely waiting for that statement. That's going to be very interesting. I'm kind of scrolling through Twitter right now, scrolling through my feed, seeing what else we can pick up here as far as the current situation here that's unfolding surrounding Weston McKennie. I also, with Gio Reyna being out, that is news to me. So Gio Reyna being out, that's also news to the Canadian national team. So it'll benefit the U.S. in some regards, them not really knowing that he wasn't going to play here. But then again, let's see the latest from Weston McKennie.
I'm trying to also find that information as well on my phone.
Yeah. Okay, looks like we have a statement from Weston McKennie on Instagram a couple minutes ago. Unfortunately, I'm suspended for tonight's match due to violation of the team COVID protocols. I'm sorry for my actions. I'll be cheering hard for the boys tonight and hope to be back with the team soon. So there's that. Let's go to the comments here. We have Jamie Louder. I don't think Pflug was too impressive against El Salvador. Yeah, I think that the main problem was a lack of creativity. I think ultimately, Jamie, they're gonna start Pflug to see what he can do early on. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Josh Sargent come in, you know, maybe in a very early substitute situation if Pflug is struggling. Um, but he has had some success for the U.S., especially in the Gold Cup. He looked decent the other night. I wasn't too impressed either. I think Josh Sargent should be starting. I think he's the guy for the job until proven otherwise right now. I know a lot of people aren't going to like that, but at the same time, that's how I feel.
Yeah, indeed. Like especially like even looking at this too. There's a lot of people in here that I feel like could start, especially especially that big one, Josh Sargent. I know, like you said, not a lot of people rate this man pretty good, and man, and
Yeah, I mean, let's see who else. When it comes down to their lineup, I have the forwards right here. So we saw Connor De La Fuente in the last match. Ricardo Pepi, he's another guy that we could potentially see. He's a guy that I would like to see who hasn't played. Timothy Weah is, of course, injured. This was the original call-ups for this group, for this camp, for these qualifiers, excuse me. These are essentially the guys. So Jordan Pflug, I think we could see Pepi. I would like to see Pepi. I'd pick Rania. I'd pick, Josh Sargent over him, but who knows?
yeah, like I just really hope, it's like I said, I hope Pepe can actually come off the bench and make an impact. The other day I really thought he started for FC Dallas until I realized he was on international duty. So that pretty much changed everything for me on that end.
Yeah.
But like if Berhalter throws like the magic 8 ball and says, you know what, you're starting or basically going on the bench to come on later on in the game, yeah.
Yeah, man, we got some more comments here surrounding the pitches in Concacaf. What is this? Brian Holmes, don't know what that means. If you want to elaborate there, Greg should call players on hot form. And, they're pretty much the comments are saying you don't have time to create in Concacaf on tough pitches. Well, we're playing at home today in Nashville, so this is a good pitch. This is an NFL stadium. They're playing at Nissan Stadium here. So today, there really are no excuses. I mean, there typically are no excuses in my books for World Cup qualifiers. You come ready to play. The U.S. obviously didn't come ready to play the last match, but today is home on a really good field, on a really good pitch. And Rufo, let's get into that time. Let's kind of give our predictions today. I know you're very specific with your predictions, so I'll go first, and then you can lay out who you think is going to score, what minute, what the exact score is going to be. But I'm gonna stick to your narrative, Rufo. I kind of like your 2-1, score line, and with the starting lineup, Rufo, of the U.S. I'm gonna say Christian Pulisic is gonna score in the first half, open up the gates. I think that Canada will counter. I think Kyle Larin will score, and then I think we're gonna see a Josh Sargent off the bench game winner, around the 70th, 80th minute. What do you think?
I like that call. Holy cow.
Very specific, but
yeah, for me, I'm gonna say, well, of course, I'm gonna stick to the prediction according to FIFA 21. I'm gonna stick with the 2-1 prediction. Christian Pulisic will score out the gate, and I think Kellyan Acosta will either assist him. If not, then probably a surprise assist from Sebastian Lletget. And then instead of Kyle Larin, if he doesn't score, if Larin gets saved by Matt Turner, then it'll probably be either Junior Hoylett or we might see Mark Anthony Kaye probably score. So it'll probably be 1-1 by halftime. And then, dang, who's in the lineup again?
Well, here it is. I'm just flashing it on right now for Canada.
All righty, let's see. And then I feel like to score the final goal of the game, I'm gonna go with like a corner here. And instead of Miles Robinson, someone's going to probably come off the bench. If Zimmerman does get subbed on, I would want him to score. But if it's not him, then I'm going to probably go with John Brooks. Throwback to the
2014 World Cup header for John Brooks.
Yeah, I'm going to say 76th minute, and he's going to score that winner in the 2-1 victory for the United States. right then and there.
Let's see here. Let's see in the comments here. Slopify saying, I'm saying 1-0 Sebastian Lletget volley in the 73rd.
I would like to see a golazo, man.
That would shut up a lot of Lletget haters there, right? Wouldn't it? So I want to see Lletget play well. I want to see him. I want to see him score. I want to see the US win. So I don't care whoever's going to step up today. Let them step up. Let's see, guys. Comment below. It looks like everyone's still kind of going off right now about the Weston McKennie situation. Jamie Lauder said that he saw a recent Twitter journalist say that Juve thinks Weston is not disciplined, overweight, late parties too much, bad diet. I saw the same things written about Neymar recently as well. So I know, but at the same time, right, he's younger than Neymar right now. He's still young. I think it's right to be tough on him. He lacks professionalism right now. But that's why I think Berhalter needs to be stern with him. I think Juve's coach has to be stern with him. Like Brutha Bluto said, I think they're going to move him in the January window. That's what I see. So that's kind of still to be processed, the whole situation there with Weston McKennie. Let's see here. G2A Galaxy. Imagine Matt Turner scores a bicycle. All right.
All
right. So I guess we're set. Yeah, I'll take that too.
Just call up the goalkeeper, Berhalter. It's just like, all right, what I want you to do is just either head the ball or just use your right foot. Do what we do in training, okay? There, done it.
So, guys, I appreciate everyone tuning in today. For anyone new to State of Soccer, my name is Brian McDonough. This is Rufo. Rufo joins me, for the soccer-specific podcast, the podcast component of the channel, for his first time on the live stream, Rufo. So welcome back. How does it feel to be back?
Well, indeed, it's like I said, I feel very good, and especially from the first appearance, I'm just like, dang, I might as well become a part of this crew, damn it. Like, no matter what the case may be, I just bring the energy.
You do bring the energy, yeah.
Bring the energy, bring the momentum, as they say.
Bring the momentum. Yeah, so that's right. So Rufo joins me every now and then. He's here today for the live stream for the soccer-specific podcast. We also do an episode every week. So if you guys subscribe to me, you'll have access to all those awesome episodes that we do weekly. The upcoming one is the top 5 toughest places to play in Concacaf. My previous episode, Rufo, I don't know if you saw that one, but that was kind of explaining World Cup qualifying, why this round is different than the last round. So tune into that if you haven't watched that.
Indeed.
And that's different, Rufo, because there's 8 teams instead of 6, right?
Yeah, like 4 spots to go for, 1 as a playoff, and then 3, like I said, to qualify for the actual thing. So
yeah, and that's why every point is huge for the USMNT. So Rufo, I'm going to sign off here. I think 2-1 is the score. I think the US will get 3 points, and then we'll reconvene back for Honduras later this week. But from State of Soccer, this is me signing off. Rufo, any last words?
Yeah, honestly, y'all boys, just take care, and as always, follow the beautiful game no matter what the case may be, and subscribe to the channel, hit that big red button, as Brian once said. Like, I mean it, boys. If the Irish guy says to smash that big fat red button, y'all smash the big fat red button.
Smash that, but yep. Let's go. We got some comments coming in. Let's go USA. All right, guys. Take care. Stay safe. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your Labor Day. If you're in the U.S., you have off tomorrow. For guys like Jamie Lauder, I'm sorry you probably have work or whatever you do tomorrow. Not to rub it in, but I appreciate you being on the stream. Take care. Go U.S. We'll talk soon, guys.
Vámonos. Adios.